Guys, this is Brian Mounts. I run turfmechanic.com, and right when I sit down to film, things happen. I got a cat right here. My daughter is starting yelling at me. Say hi. Say hi.
Hi.
Hi. Should I start real mowing? She's not convinced. This video is going to be geared for those of you who have a lot of experience with rotary mowers, but are thinking about starting with the real mowers. How do you start? I don't know. I've never started, well, I guess I have. I don't know, about 10 years ago I used a real mower, back before I cared about the lawn. Today, I do care about the lawn quite a bit, so from that perspective, I am brand new to real mowing. This is my experience making the switch from rotary to reel. Don't worry, all you guys who actually subscribe to this channel. I'm probably going to stick to my rotary battery mowers for a long time to come, but I will be using the reel in certain let's call it certain circumstances and periodically throughout the year. All right, now before I get too far into this video, right off the bat, I want to say, for those of you people looking to figure out the best way to get into real mowing, I know so much that there are tons of YouTube celebrities out there who are gung-ho about the most fancy and most expensive pieces of equipment under the planet, under the sun. I don't care. I just don't. Real mowing is about cutting the grass in a scissor-like action. So long as I can get that action, I am not attempting to win awards with my lawn, despite the fact that I run this YouTube channel. I want to experiment with that scissor cut, so I'm going with the 7-blade Earthwise real mower. The one that's really cheap and affordable. Everyone can buy this thing without like breaking the bank. I'm going to put this thing together. It's probably going to take just a snap of the fingers. All right, it might take more than one snap of the fingers. I pulled everything out and kind of looked at what I got. My son back here, where are you, Jake? Jake, what did you just ask me? I don't know if you could hear that, but he literally just asked me, Dad, why do you have a new lawnmower? How do you respond to that? You gotta have more lawnmowers. Anyway, let's snap the fingers again. All right, that looks good. One beer, and a few minutes later, plus some time spent with my daughter, my son, who just ran off, I got the mower set up. Not so bad at all. All right, who cares about putting the mower together? I don't care about it. That's why I didn't show it to you. What I do care about is telling you why I'm doing it and why I chose this one and why I think this is probably a pretty good option for the majority of people who are just dipping their toes into the real mowing ecosystem. I don't know, community? Let's call it community. You can do it, baby girl. Push it. Push it. Strong. Teamwork. Yeah. All right, long story short, the reason why I chose this real mower over the countless others that I could have chosen is because I literally wanted to go with a mower that came from a name brand that was at a reasonable price, something pretty darn low. But I didn't want to go down to the 5-blade real mowers that you can buy even cheaper than this. Now this, I don't remember the price tag off the top of my head. I'll link to it down in the description below. But I haven't yet cut the grass yet because it's still the end of winter right now. So I can't say that this is the best real mower, but I think it's going to suffice for me and I'm going to be happy with it, most likely. I wanted a 7-blade real mower because 5 blades, as they spin, as the cylinder spins, you're getting fewer cuts for every, let's call it, foot that you pass. Every like wheel rotation, there are fewer blade cuts happening on the ground. Now, if there was something in a reasonable price range that gave me like 9 blades or 10 blades or 11 blades, I might have opted for that. But for me, I chose this one simply because it was a good, in my opinion, it was a good balance between quantity of blades for the price paid. Now, this thing has been purchased and reviewed by probably thousands of people. This is a tested product. This is not like from an unknown brand. I was happy to pick this one up. It also, what I like about it is that it gives me a lot of increments to work with. It's not a precise increment change like some of the really fancy reel mowers out there that you could spend like $1,000 or more on, but The lowest setting possible is 1/2 inch, which is much shorter than what I cut my grass with my rotary mower. And the tallest setting possible is 2.5 inches, which is much taller than I ever cut with my rotary mower. So somewhere in the middle is going to be perfect for me. Now, over the course of the season, I don't anticipate cutting this grass on the lowest setting possible. I actually want to push my lawn a little bit higher over the coming year, but I can do that with this mower by doing some very simple adjusting. So these little like green wing nuts here, all I got to do is remove that one and this one, and I can change the height setting in about a minute, and I don't have to go out into the garage and grab any tools. It's just really simple and easy to do. Now the increments are roughly 1/2 inch increments, so you can't get really granular, but I don't really care about that. I just want the grass to look its best. And from my experience with my rotary mowers is that as the rotary mower comes down lower and lower and lower, we get more fraying as the blade spins and cuts. Doesn't matter how sharp I have that blade. If the rotary mower is short, low to the ground, it just frays the grass a little bit more. Simply because you're closer to the stem, it's just a more aggressive part. The thicker, more fibrous area of the grass, the rotary mower just doesn't cut it quite as good as I'd like. Now, what I want to experiment with this is truly the cut quality difference of the scissor cut. So I say like scissor cut, it's not scissor cut like you grab scissors and scissor. Those of you who actually do a lot of reel mowing, you understand what this is. There's the blade on the ground, and then the cylinder spins over it, and every time it spins, it scrapes that blade on the ground, and anything caught between the grass, let's say your finger maybe, you don't want your finger in there, it's gonna cut it. It's just gonna slice it right down the middle, but it's gonna slice it as if it was a scissor cut. So the blade itself is going to have a cleaner cut. Now, a lot of people complain about these push reel mowers because they're not powered. So as you push, the cylinder spins. The faster you push, the faster the cylinder spins. But if, for instance, you were to spend lots more money and pick up a powered reel mower, the reel would spin regardless, independent of you pushing the mower itself. That's what people like when they spend $1,000 or more on a powered reel mower. You'll find a lot of people complaining about this kind of like wavy, kind of washboard appearance to a lawn when you're using a reel mower. For me, I don't know, maybe I will find that to be particularly annoying if I'm seeing that in this, but I don't actually anticipate that to be the case. What I do anticipate having is a cleaner cut on the grass blade. So if you're familiar with this channel at all, you know that I care more about the health of my grass than the appearance of my grass. I feed my grass for its health. I cut my grass for its health. I do everything to my lawn to keep it as healthy as possible. As I sit here in the middle of winter, my grass still looks pretty darn healthy, even though we've had snowpack on it for 3 weeks straight, and we got down into the low single digits for a week straight. A healthy lawn can hold up to disease and temperature stress, snow and heat and drought and all of those things. With a rotary mower that's spinning around and fraying the top of the grass blades, you are introducing pathways for pathogens to come in and foster disease in the grass. So later in the year, in the spring, in the summer, in the fall, when disease pressure is at its greatest, if your grass is healthy, if we're cutting it with a reel as opposed to a rotary mower, it's more likely to be able to fend itself or defend itself from these disease attacks that are completely natural in lawns across the country. Most people that do reel mowing are really trying to get their lawns shorter and shorter and shorter. And that's kind of opposite of what I'm doing here, because I want my grass to be slightly longer. The thing is, that's because I don't want to be out here mowing the grass every 1 or 2 days. The vast majority of people that go gung-ho into reel mowing and they say, I'm going to bring that thing down as low as I can possibly get it, they find themselves having to cut the grass every 1 to 2 days, and it might work pretty good for a while, but eventually it's fatiguing. Truly only the diehards and the people I don't know, with a lot of free time most days of the week, can do that. I can't keep up with that, and I live here and I work here at the house. I can't keep up with it. I got too many kids in the house. I have to clean up the yard every single time I mow. I want to mow slightly less frequently, even though I love doing it and it's good for the lawn. But the reel mower gives me the flexibility to be able to mow lower for those individual times where I really want to do it. So a little bit later in the spring, I'm going to be doing some leveling projects here in the yard. Nothing major. I'm not going to do a full lawn leveling, but I'm going to do some leveling projects. And when you level, you want that grass as low as humanly possible. I can't get it lower with my rotary mower. This is the only way I can get it truly low, unless I grab, I don't know, my beard trimmer out of the bathroom. I don't know, maybe that would work. So this contraption gives me a lot of flexibility. It allows me to experiment with shortcut grass if I want to later this year. I might pick a chunk of my yard and maintain it at a particularly low height just to see what it's like. But it also gives me the ability to raise this up to match my rotary mowers, to have that same height of cut in that maybe 1.5 to 2 inch range. That will allow me, especially come summer, to be able to cut the grass regularly, but minimize the introduction of pathogens into the lawn system, because the grass is simply getting cut cleaner. So what do I recommend for someone jumping into reel mowing for the beginning, for the first time ever? I'm doing it right now. This is what I recommend, and that's why I'm doing it right now. I have looked at all of the options. I don't think it's worth going to a cheaper reel mower than this, because they are a little bit smaller and they've got less blades. I don't really recommend going into anything bigger or more expensive either, because it's such a time commitment, and as your mower itself gets more fancy, it becomes far more expensive and time consuming to maintain it. I don't recommend wasting money or time or product, but if I damage this thing, I could just go buy another one and not really think twice about it. There's always going to be someone in town who's going to purchase a used reel mower for like 50 bucks, even if it's damaged. However, if I were to spend $2,000 on a really fancy reel mower and I damage it, then that's going to hurt me and my wallet. You're thinking about getting into reel mowing? Consider this. Yeah, this isn't as flashy as some of the other machines out there, but it doesn't need to be flashy. This is just your yard. I do plan on using this very soon, in the very early spring, for lawn leveling projects. Now, I have a couple videos already on this channel about lawn leveling. Mostly they have to do with spot leveling. I suggest you take a look at them, and then as the spring progresses, especially if you're a subscriber, you're no doubt going to find this video when it is released, my bigger spring lawn leveling project of 2022. Make sure to watch this older leveling video. This is where I leveled a particular spot in my lawn. This actually applies more to the majority of people. The majority of people who tend to lawns don't really need to level their entire lawn. There's usually just 1 or 2 spots in it that could use some tender loving care.